After spending the day with my sisters, something felt different, lighter. Not completely, but enough to notice. But the unease about Josh hadn't gone anywhere. It lingered in the back of my mind like a question I couldn't stop asking. That night, I closed my eyes and entered the soul archive. The space greeted me in silence. Near the center, something new had formed. A crystal, dense and gray. Earth. It looked heavy, solid, its surface uneven, misshapen, but strangely smooth, like it had been worn down over time. It didn't pulse like the others. It just existed. Stable. Grounded. I hadn't even cleansed a soul for it. So I can learn without it, I murmured. The thought barely had time to settle. My phone buzzed. I opened my eyes. New request. Echo detected. Suffocation victim. Location, VIP room, Mary's Dance Club. I accepted immediately. The club was wrong. Places like this were supposed to be loud, music, bodies, movement. But when I stepped inside, silence. Complete. The empty dance floor stretched out in front of me. Lights dim, air stale. It felt like walking into something abandoned, like the life had been drained out of it. I pushed the feeling down and made my way to the VIP section. The closer I got, the heavier the air became. Then I felt it. Panic. Desperation. A suffocating, clawing terror that pressed against my chest before I even opened the door. Yeah, I muttered. This one's bad. I pushed the door open. The room was still, but the echo wasn't. It coiled in the center, tight, invisible, oppressive, like something wrapped around itself. Waiting, I stepped forward and raised my hands. Echo cleanse. The world snapped. I was inside it. Dark. Close. Too close. Hands tight around my throat. I couldn't breathe. Pressure built instantly, crushing, unrelenting. My lungs burned as I tried to pull in air that wouldn't come. My instincts screamed to fight, to tear at it, to break it, but I forced myself to focus. This wasn't like the others. The soul wasn't the problem. I could feel it. Weak, fading, buried. Something else was wrapped around it. Constriction, like a serpent tightening with every second. If I pushed with force, I'd crush it. If I absorbed it, I'd take it in. So don't do either. My breath hitched. Separated. I shifted my mana. Not wide. Not heavy. Thin. Precise. Like a blade. A current of air so fine it barely existed. I guided it carefully, sliding it between the soul, and the corruption wrapped around it. There was resistance. Then, a gap. I pushed deeper. Slow. Controlled. Peeling it away. Not tearing. Not burning. Just separating. The pressure faltered. The grip around my throat loosened. Air. Cold, sharp air flooded into my lungs. I gasped. Again and again. The corruption unraveled, slipping away from the soul piece by piece until it finally broke apart completely. The echo dissolved. Reality slammed back in. I dropped to my knees, coughing hard as sweat dripped into my eyes. Damn. The black veins crept up my arms, curling toward my chest. Not as bad as the combustion echo, but still heavy. Still there. That was a strong one. I closed my eyes again and slipped back into the archive. The orb was already moving, faster than before, orbiting the golden crystal in a tight, shifting pattern. I stepped closer and touched it. Light flared. Wind. A new crystal formed beside the others. Smooth. Round. But inside, currents moved. Endless motion, twisting and flowing like contained storm. I stared at it, breathing slowly. Fire. Water. Earth. Now wind. Each one different. Each one learned. Not given. Not granted. Understood. I looked at my hands. Then back at the crystals. I thought this power came from cleansing them. My voice was quiet. But maybe... I exhaled slowly. I don't need them to suffer to grow. I opened my eyes as the bus rolled to a stop. The ride home passed in a blur. I had something I needed to test. Once inside my apartment, I dropped onto the couch and closed my eyes, focusing inward. The soul archive formed around me. Quiet. Still. I walked straight to the gray crystal. Earth. Incomplete. What am I missing? I muttered. I studied it. Earth is containment. Anchoring. I raised my hand, try to recreate the feeling like when I held the echo under the rubble. I compressed my mana. Try to shape it. Bind it. Nothing. No response. No reaction. That's not it. I frowned and looked around the archive. Everything felt off. Then I noticed it. The orb. It had stopped. Completely. No rotation. No movement. Just hovering in silence. A bad feeling crept in. I stepped closer and reached out. The moment my fingers touched it, light exploded. I was back, under the rubble. The weight hit instantly. Crushing. Absolute. Concrete pressed down from every direction, forcing the air from my lungs. My bones screamed under the pressure. Dust filled my throat. I could hear them. The child crying. The mother trying to soothe her. The faint, panicked breaths of people who didn't know if they were going to live. And in my hands, the echo. Thrashing. Fighting. Getting worse. I tried to move. I couldn't. I tried to breathe. Barely. The pressure increased. More debris shifted above me with a grinding crack. I felt something in my body give. Pain flared. Sharp. Immediate. I can't. Remove it. My thoughts were slipping. I can't. Escape. The weight wasn't just on my body. It was everywhere. There was no space. No room. No way out. Then it hit me. I stopped fighting. Stopped trying to push back. Stopped trying to move. Instead, I pulled inward. Compressed my mana. Condensed it. Not outward. Not forceful. Just dense. Heavy. Unmoving. It settled around me. Layer by layer. Until I wasn't resisting the pressure. I was matching it. The crushing weight pressed down. And I held. My presence hardened. Like stone. Like something that had always been there. Something that didn't bend. Didn't shift. Didn't break. I can't escape. My voice was quiet. Steady. So I'll hold it. The pressure continued. Unrelenting. If I didn't move, didn't crack, didn't give, then I'll be the thing that doesn't break. Everything stilled. The world shattered. I was back in the archive, breathing hard. The gray crystal stood before me. Complete. No longer rough. No longer unstable. Now, solid. Smooth. Immovable. Absolute. I stepped forward slowly and placed my hand against its surface. It was cool. Heavy. Grounded. I turned, looking at the others. The jagged, volatile heat of thermal. The calm, flowing blue of stability. The shifting currents of wind. And now, earth. For elements. For principles. All different. All understood. A small smile crept across my face. This is getting interesting. As I turned away, my hand felt heavier than before. The silence in the diner was absolute. On the small TV, they were showing footage of Josh from a store security camera. He looked gaunt, shaking. He wasn't looking at the cashier. He was looking at something only he could see. The news anchor's voice was drowned out by the thrumming in my own head. I watched him. I didn't see a monster. I saw a man holding a weight that was crushing his soul. "We have to call it in, Brian," Cynthia whispered, her eyes fixed on screen. "The Federation, the Hunter Guilds, they'll hunt him down. If he's murdering people, there's no other choice." I looked at her. My hands were balled into fists under the table. "No, Brian, he's dangerous. Look at what he's done. He didn't choose to do this." I snapped, my voice quieter but harder. "He's a container, Cynthia. That's all he is. He stored those echoes thinking he was helping, Or maybe he was just desperate for the power. Now, they're rotting him from the inside out. I lean forward. If the guilds find him, they won't save him. They'll execute him. And if they kill him while he's holding that much corrupted energy. I didn't finish the thought. I didn't have to. The explosion would be catastrophic. You're going to try to save him, she realized, her expression shifting from fear to disbelief. I'm the only one who can, I said. I have the archive. I have the elements. If I can get to him before he fully shatters, I can pull that corruption out. Cynthia looked at the folder, then at me. A long, agonizing minute passed. Finally, she sighed and pulled her laptop out of her bag. If we're going to do this, we do it my way, she said, her fingers flying across the keys. We don't track him by sight. He's too scared, too paranoid. We track the energy. We spent the next 4 hours turning the city inside out. Cynthia was a genius with the grid. She bypassed municipal servers, hacking into private security feeds and traffic cams, cross-referencing the missing persons timeline with power surges in the city. I focused on the sensory side. I closed my eyes, reaching out with the soul archive. I looked for the wrongness. Josh was a leak, a massive, gaping wound in the fabric of reality. Wherever he went, the air should feel heavy, stagnant. Got something, Cynthia murmured, pointing to a screen. She pulled up a feed from an industrial district on the edge of town. An old, abandoned warehouse facility. Look at the footage, she said. The cameras, they're failing. The screen was static riddled. But for a split second, I saw a figure walking toward the back loading dock. It was him. That's 3 miles from here, I said, standing up. Brian, Cynthia grabbed my arm. If you go in there, and he's already gone, if there's nothing left of him, then I'll be the one to stop it, I said. I looked at my hands. I didn't have the light or the dark yet, but I had the earth. And for the first time, I knew exactly what I needed to do. We didn't talk on the drive over. The city lights faded behind us, replaced by the encroaching shadows of the industrial outskirts. As we pulled up to the warehouse, I felt it. Not just the energy, the screaming. It wasn't physical sound. It was the echoes, thousands of them, all trapped, all angry, all desperate to be heard. Josh was in there, and he wasn't alone. I turned to Cynthia. Stay in the car. If I'm not out in 20 minutes, run. I didn't wait for her to argue. I opened the door and stepped out into the night. My name is Josh Williams. I thought I'd finally found my place. When the system identified my skill, I was ecstatic. Inventory, a pocket dimension. I picture myself as the ultimate porter, the backbone of team, the guy everyone relied on. I applied to every party that would take me. Blu-ray was the one that gave me a shot. The leader, Vance, was good people. He was patient. He helped me learn the ropes. For a few weeks, I felt like I actually belonged. I was part of a group. I had value. But then, reality set in. Most containment mages could store a warehouse of gear. They could hold hundreds of pounds, sometimes tons. Me? I hit a wall at 200 pounds. 200. I was useless. I was a burden. I saw the looks. Even when Vance tried to hide it, I saw the math in his eyes. Why bring the guy who can't carry the gear? I quit before they could fire me. It was easier that way. I walked the streets for days, empty-handed, drowning in the shame of being a failure. Then I saw him. A white-haired kid, standing in front of an echo. He didn't have a weapon. He didn't have gear. He just reached out, and the echo vanished, cleansed. I watched him from the shadows, mesmerized. He looked miserable, veins dark and pulsing on his face, but he did it. Could I do that? Could I take the weight off the world? I spent days watching the Federation sites. One night, I found a breach, an active echo, left uncontained. I checked the perimeter. Nothing. I crept in. I reached out, panic spiking in my chest, and pulled. Pop. It was gone. Inside my inventory. And the best part? It didn't weigh anything. It was zero mass. Absolute zero. I could be the warehouse was a tomb of concrete and rust. Not silent, never silent, but dead in every other way. The air hung thick with dust, metallic and stale, coating the back of my throat with every breath. Somewhere high above, a loose sheet of tin creaked in the wind, the sound echoing down through the hollow space like a distant groan. Water dripped, slow, irregular. Each drop hit the floor with a hollow tick that carried too far, like the building itself was listening. I raised a hand, signaling Cynthia to stay low. She nodded once, already moving, her steps precise and quiet despite the debris scattered across the floor. We slipped behind a rusted shipping container, its surface flaking under my fingers as I steadied myself against it. Orange corrosion smeared across my glove. Then I heard it, muttering. At first, I thought it was just the echo of the building. Whine through broken steel, pipes shifting, but it wasn't. It had rhythm, layered, high-pitched whispers tangled with low, guttural murmurs. Not one voice, many, overlapping, interrupting, arguing. A dozen conversations forced into the same space. No, they're looking for us, Josh. Hide. Burn them. It's cold. It's so cold. Feed us. They took everything. Take it back. Take it back. The words scraped against each other, collapsing into noise. My grip tightened. Cynthia, I breathed, barely audible. You hear that? She didn't answer. She didn't need to. I leaned forward, slow, controlled, and peered around the edge of the container. Josh sat on a wooden pallet in the center of the warehouse, or what was left of him. His back was hunched, shoulders twitching in sharp, irregular jerks. His hands were buried in his hair, fingers digging so hard they looked locked in place. His clothes hung loose, wrinkled and stained, like he hadn't noticed time passing. His head moved constantly, not scanning, reacting. His eyes darted from one empty corner to another, tracking things that weren't there, or worse, things only he could see. The whites were veined red, but that wasn't the unsettling part. They didn't move together. Each eye lagged, jittered, corrected like something behind them was pulling in different directions. He was trembling, not from fear, from strain. Josh. The name left my mouth before I could soften it. He snapped toward me, too fast. His body followed a half second later, jerking upright like something had yanked him by the spine. His eyes locked onto mine, and for a split second, they weren't his. They fractured, not physically, but the focus behind them splintered, like looking through cracked glass. Brian, he said, voice thin, stretched too tight. He pushed himself to his feet, swaying. You shouldn't be here. The voices surged, louder now, pressing through him. They found us. Kill him before he takes us. Don't let him touch you. Josh flinched, clutching his head again. They're loud today, he whispered, almost apologetic, like he was explaining something out of his control. I stepped out from cover, hands open, slow, deliberate. I'm here to help Josh, I said, keeping my voice steady. Let me take them. Let me cleanse the echoes inside you. For a moment, just a moment, something in his expression shifted. Relief. Hope. Then it shattered. You can't, he screamed. The sound tore out of him, raw and distorted, layered with voices that weren't his own. A pulse of dark energy rippled outward from his body, warping the air around him like heat distortion. Dust lifted off the ground in a ring. They'll take you too. The pressure hit my chest like a physical force. Josh staggered back, then turned, tried to run, but his legs didn't respond right. He stumbled, nearly collapsing as his balance failed him. Cynthia moved. No hesitation. No warning. Her thumb slammed down on the remote. Click. The floor lit up. A split second later, high-tension electromagnetic cables erupted from hidden channels in the concrete, snapping upward with violent precision. They wrapped around Josh's arms, his legs, his torso, coiling tight before he could react. The force yanked him backward, slamming him against a steel support pillar. The impact rang through the warehouse. Josh roared, not a human sound. It tore out of him in layers, Multiple tones stacked on top of each other, vibrating through the air like something breaking apart under pressure. The cables strained, humming as they absorbed the force of his resistance. "Brian, now!" Cynthia shouted, bracing herself as she adjusted the output, keeping the restraints tight. I closed the distance, boots slamming against concrete, the world narrowing to a single point. My hands ignited with the resonance of the archive before I even reached him. Inside me, the system was already spinning up. Fire surged first, hot, eager. Water followed, cool, controlled. Earth settled beneath it, solid, unyielding. Wind sharpened at the edges, precise, waiting. Light flickered at the center. Darkness coiled beneath it all. Ready. I slammed my palms against Josh's chest. The moment I made contact, the noise exploded. Every voice turned toward me. New one. Take him. He's stronger, break him. The fire collapsed into water, surging and cool, stabilizing waves that sank into his system. The chaos didn't vanish, but it slowed. The violent spasms dulled into uneven rhythm. The voices still there, but no longer sharp enough to tear him apart. His breath hitched, still drowning, but no longer sinking. Then I anchored it. Earth dropped through everything like gravity asserting itself. His body locked in place, not just restrained, but structurally pinned, reality itself forcing him still. The internal chaos had nowhere left to expand. For the first time, it held. And I felt the cost immediately, everything pressing back at once. I didn't hesitate. Wind cut through, invisible and surgical. It slipped between layers of corruption and soul, lifting the remaining threads like ink pulled from water. They stretched, thinned, then snapped free, each fragment dissolving before it could reform. The pressure finally eased. Not gone, but reduced. The voices fewer now, quieter. Is it gone? He wheezed, barely able to lift his head. For a second, I almost said yes. It looked like enough, felt like enough, but I didn't trust almost. I closed my eyes and looked deeper. Past the surface, past what I burned, washed, anchored, and cut away. Into his core. And felt it. Not fragments, not threads. A mass, dense, compact, absolute. A singularity of everything that hadn't been touched. Rage, resentment, murder, not scattered, condensed. Waiting. My eyes snapped open. No, I said quietly. The worst of it was still there. A mass of absolute black. A singularity of rage, resentment, and murder. The culmination of everyone he'd cleansed. The mass moved, not like shadow, like gravity. It folded inward, then collapsed toward me, dragging everything with it. My breath caught. This wasn't corruption. This was density. Too many echoes. Too many lives compressed into something that no longer had shape. Josh didn't lose control. He exceeded capacity. My hands pressed harder against his chest as the archive reacted. Inside me, the 6 crystals ignited. Fire flared first, violent, eager. It lashed out instinctively. Burn it. White heat surged through my arms and stopped. The mass didn't burn. It fed. The flames twisted, stretched thin, then snapped back unstable. Water followed, cool, flowing. It tried to disperse the pressure, to spread the weight evenly. For a moment, the mass shifted, then collapsed again, heavier than before. Earth slammed down next, anchoring, containing, holding everything in place. The ground beneath my knees cracked as the force pushed back. Not outward, inward. Earth trembled, straining. Wind cut in, sharp, precise. Threads of darkness peeled away for half a second, then recoiled, snapping back into the hole like elastic under tension. Nothing was working. Not alone. Not like this. Inside the archive, the orbit destabilized. Fire surged too fast. Water lagged behind. Earth locked too hard. Wind fractured its own paths. They weren't harmonizing. They were competing. And at the center, light flickered. Weak, distant, like it was waiting for something. And beneath it, darkness, not external, not invading. Mine, every fragment I had already taken in. Stirred, unprocessed, unresolved. They resonated with the mass in front of me, calling to it, feeding it. My vision blurred. If I kept forcing this, the system would break. Not Josh, me. I felt it then, clear as a blade against my throat. A limit, not a power, of structure. The archive wasn't rejecting the mass. It was trying to contain more than it was built to hold. My fingers trembled. If I pushed this away, it would shatter him. If I forced it, it would shatter me. There was only one option left. Expand capacity. I exhaled, slow and shaking, and made the worst decision I could. I released the internal barriers, opened the core, and let everything in. Absorption, internalization. It didn't enter. It collapsed into me, all at once. Inside the archive, the orbit broke instantly. Fire spiked, wild, uncontrolled. Water flooded too fast, drowning structure. Earth overcompensated, locking everything rigid, then cracking under the pressure. Wind shattered into chaotic currents, cutting through everything without direction. And darkness expanded, not outward, inward, swallowing space. The golden core dimmed. The system wasn't processing anymore. It was overloading. Pain detonated through me, not physical, structural, like something inside me was being forced into a shape it couldn't hold. I dropped my knees. The world disappeared. I wasn't Brian anymore. A child screaming in the dark, a man bleeding out on cold pavement, a woman staring at her hands, unable to undo what she'd done. They didn't pass through me. They stuck, layering, stacking, compressing. No separation, no flow, just accumulation. The archive couldn't cycle them, couldn't refine them. They were clogging everything. Fire lashed wildly, burning fragments at random. Water tried to move them, but there was nowhere for them to go. Earth locked them in place. Wind tore them apart, and darkness kept pulling them back together. A closed loop, a failing system. I choked on a breath that wasn't mine. I can't, my voice fractured. I can't process this. That was it. That was the truth. Not strength, not endurance. Processing. That's what I was missing. The archive wasn't just storage. It was a system, and I had been skipping the most important step. A flicker at the center, light, faint, barely holding, not acting, waiting for input, for direction, for integration. My thoughts dragged toward it, splintering under the weight. Fire wasn't wrong. Water wasn't wrong. Earth, wind, even darkness, none of them were wrong. They were incomplete, separate functions trying to solve a problem that required unity. I forced my focus inward, not on the chaos, on the center, on the light. Together, I whispered, barely holding onto the word. The response was immediate, not explosive, not violent, coherent. Light expanded, not outward, but through the system. It touched fire, and the flames stabilized, no longer burning wildly, but refining. It touched water, and the flow gained direction. It touched earth, and the rigidity softened into support instead of restriction. It touched wind, and the chaos sharpened into precision. It touched darkness, and the pull stopped consuming and started holding. Not a void, a container, a foundation. The orbit reformed. Not perfectly, not cleanly, but functional. For now, the fragments inside me shifted. Not erased, not gone. Organized, seen, processed, given shape. Faces emerged from the noise. Voices separated. Pain, contextualized. I see you, I said, the words anchoring the system in place. The light pulsed, and everything moved. Not against each other, with each other. I pushed the stabilized current outward, through my arms back into Josh. His body jerked, then stilled. Inside him, the mass unraveled, not resisting, not fighting, but finally processed. The compression broke. The density dissolved. What remained wasn't darkness. It was residue, clean, quiet, at rest, silence. My hand slipped away. Inside the archive, the orbit continued. Fire, water, earth, wind, light, darkness, moving together, stable, for now, because deep at the center, where the light had forced everything into alignment, hairline fractures spread across the core. Not visible from the outside. Not enough to stop function, but enough to remember this moment. Enough to fail later. I collapsed to the floor, breath shaking. Not from the pain, but from the realization. I hadn't fixed the system. I had forced it to evolve mid-collapse. And something inside it was still unfinished. One who finally cleans up this. City. I was going to be a hero. I forged the license the next morning. The class was a breeze. And standing there, in the back of the room, was the white-haired kid from the alley. Brian. He was a new recruit, too. Yesterday was his first cleanse. I felt a surge of camaraderie. We were both starting, both trying to do the work. I started my life with so much enthusiasm. I took every job. I cleansed everything I could find. But then, the change started. It wasn't just the echoes in my inventory. They were alive in there. At first, it was a whisper, just a thought that didn't feel like my own. Then it became a chorus. Why did you leave me? It burns. Make them pay. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was just stress, just fatigue. But the voices wouldn't stop. They didn't sleep. They screamed and clawed at the walls of my mind, demanding to be heard, demanding to be let out. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat. Sometimes, I'd wake up in a dark alley. The air would be cold, my hands would be shaking, and there would be a body at my feet. The first time it happened, I screamed. I ran until my lungs felt like they were going to burst. I thought it was a nightmare. But then it happened again, and again. I'm not a murderer. I'm not. I'm just a container. But I'm not the one in control anymore. The voices, they're tired of being stored. They're tired of being invisible. And now, they're taking the wheel. I'm trapped. I'm screaming inside my own head, begging them to stop, but the only thing that comes out of my mouth is a laugh I don't recognize. I think I'm fading away, and there's nothing left to do but watch. Not pain, not injury, just wait. Like something had changed the way my body understood gravity. I was about to leave the soul archive when I felt a subtle shift. I stopped. Slowly, I turned back. The 4 elemental crystals had changed. They vanished for a brief moment, then reappeared, now orbiting the large golden crystal at the center of the archive. But something was wrong. The rotation wasn't stable. It was uneven, strained, like the system was trying to force a pattern that didn't fully exist. Empty pressure pockets formed in the orbit, gaps where something should have been, but wasn't. I narrowed my eyes. On the outer edge of the archive, a ripple passed through the space. A brief absence of light. Not darkness, not shadow. More like reality itself, refusing to render something for an instant. I stared at it for a long moment. What is that? Before I could focus further, I decided to step back. As I turned away, a second anomaly appeared. A warm pulse. It flared for an instant, then collapsed. Like something attempting to stabilize the system, but failing to anchor itself into place. I paused. The archive slowly settled back into its usual stillness. But it didn't feel the same anymore. I leaned back slightly, the weight of the discovery settling in. Something's missing. Over the next few days, nothing abnormal happened. I accepted a few missions, cleansed echoes. Everything was routine. But I kept searching for Josh. He was gone, a ghost in the system. On the 3rd day, Cynthia messaged me. She had the report. We met at a diner, the smell of cheap coffee heavy in the air. She slid a thick folder across the table. Blu-ray, I muttered, scanning the file. Why would an adventure team need a white mage for a rift? Cynthia tapped the page. He wasn't a white mage, Brian. He was a containment mage. He used inventory skills to store items. My stomach dropped. He forged his license, she added. That was it. The missing puzzle piece. That's why his cleansing process had felt so cold, so off. He wasn't cleansing the echoes, he was archiving them. What about his mental state? I asked. The team said he was fine. Normal. I paused. We had been in orientation together. He had been quiet, sure, but sane. What changed? Cynthia frowned. Maybe the trapped echoes. Maybe they aren't just sitting in his inventory. We stopped. The pieces clicked into place, a terrifying picture forming in our minds. Clatter. The sound of the diner TV cut through the silence. The news anchor's voice was urgent. A grainy surveillance photo flashed on the screen. Josh Williams. Primary suspect. The report listed the missing people. Every single one had been cleansed by Josh. I looked at Cynthia, my heart hammering. He isn't just storing them, I whispered. The echoes are influencing him. He's acting out their trauma, their revenge. Cynthia went pale. It makes sense. We sat there, paralyzed, watching the news feed roll. The hunter had become the hunted, and he was unraveling fast.